Hi, everybody. So today's topic is intercultural contact. And I learned this topic and I learned about this topic from Feature Learn. It was the week 7, I guess. And thank you for the information, I guess. So, so this is my content. We'll start with acculturation. Then we have this thing called UNW curve, and then we have Yang Kim's theory, intercultural competence, reflecting on causa, and critical incident. So, what is acculturation? Acculturation is a socio-cultural process that occurs when individuals or groups from different cultural backgrounds come into continuous first-hand contact leading to changes in the original cultural patterns of either or both groups. So there's a picture that I put. So in this picture, as you can tell, there are five different people, five different person, and they are all from different cultures. So when they interact with each other, when they are when they talk about their culture, when they talk and share about their culture, this is actually the process of acculturation. I know this sentence sounds kind of stupid, but what I mean by that is like different people from different countries, different parts of the world interacts with each other, and the interaction is called acculturation. So we have this thing called U and W curve. So the U and W curve were developed to describe the process of acculturation. And in 1955, the sociologist Sverre Lesgard developed one of the first models of cultural adjustment. His U curve model describes a rise and fall throughout the acculturation process. Sorry, this is my cat. So there's a picture. We have four different steps in this U curve, U and W curve. So the first step is honeymoon period. This is the excitement of being in a new environment. For example, when I go, I hope I can go, but when I go to America, the US, I'll be excited about going to a new environment. And the second one is crisis period. So this has also been called the culture shock period. So when I go there, I'll be like, there will be a culture shock, right? Because there are some things that we don't do in Turkey, and they have a different culture from us. So it could be a culture shock. It can be called crisis. I mean, I would not say it as a crisis because, you know, if you can't adapt to a new environment, it could be a crisis, but the first you'll be shocked, then you'll adapt to the environment. So culture shock period is like a better way to call it, and I think, sorry. And then we have adjustment period. So this is like feeling competence in the new environment. So I go there, I stay there for like 2 or 3 days and or weeks. I don't know how much I'll be staying there and how much I'll be, adapt to the new environment. So adjustment period is like, okay, I'm getting adjusted, adapted, I'm getting used to this. And then we have the biculturalism period, so feeling well adjusted and confident in the new environment. So I can say that, okay, from Turkey, I have this thing called Turkish culture, but also I went to America and I lived there for a long time. I wouldn't say like a short time, but for a long time. So now I'm like I have like a biculture, right? So I know the both cultures, their differences, their some similarities, and I'm used to those cultures. And then we have Yang Kim's theories of cross-cultural adaptation. So he sees the adaptation process as a spiral where every new experience adds to personal growth. And whenever you face a situation or transition to a new environment where your established cultural patterns don't work, you will likely experience some level of stress and confusion. And it's totally fine, as we told about it, that it could be a crisis period. And these feelings can initially provoke defensive responses where you may try to keep your existing habits and reject a new culture. For example, I'm giving the same example actually, but if I go to US if I go to a house, for example, I go there and they wear their shoes in the house, right? I'll be shocked. Like we don't do this in Turkey, and I may be like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna wear my shoe. Rejecting the new culture, or I'm not gonna eat this food. I'm rejecting it. I'm gonna find some Middle Eastern or Turkish shops, supermarkets, and I'll buy everything from there. So it's like rejecting the new culture and keeping my existing habits. But is it a great thing? I wouldn't say it's a great thing, but it's a, personal choice. So we shouldn't just judge people from that. And also, Young Kim mentioned that you know, new experience adds to personal growth. And I also think the same. Then we have, okay, this is the picture of, adaptation, stress, and growth over time. I actually don't know how to explain that, but I just found the picture. And then we have intercultural competence. As intercultural communication was increasingly seen as crucial in a globalized world, researchers focused on two main ideas. So the first one is identifying specific traits and characteristics necessary for intercultural competence, like identifying, okay, this could be necessary for intercultural competence, or this could be an easy way to communicate with each other with different cultures, maybe, and then contemplating how these traits are assessed and encouraged. Then we have the models of intercultural competence. So we have knowledge, of course. When we interact with a new culture, we'll see that we know something about them from history, or we know some of them from the internet, or blah blah blah. So this is the thing called knowledge. Then we have attitudes. So if you're not open to a new culture, it could be hard for you to adapt, right? So the attitude is very important with interacting with new cultures. You cannot just deny a new culture while staying in a different country, I think. Now we have this thing, skills of interpreting and relating. So you can interpret the first culture to the other culture, like giving some examples and relating it, like, okay, giving some examples from the previous culture, or making some connections between them. It could be a thing. So, and then we have skills of discovery and interaction. Interaction is like, okay, you're gonna interact with new people from new countries, and you can research the culture with like some this with like on the internet, or discovering the culture while staying there could be a thing. And then we have critical culture awareness. You should be aware to any culture in the world, and of course, as people, we have this thing called critical thinking, right? So we cannot just go to a new country and say, "Oh, what type of culture is this? I'm denying it. It's wrong." We cannot say that. It is right for them, for the people of that culture, right? Okay, it can be wrong for us in Turkey, but it's not something. It's not a big of deal. Like it could be right and a correct way in a new culture. So we should be aware of that, and we should be use our critical thinking. And then we have this thing called the CASA, I guess, reflecting on CASA. The CASA model includes four key elements for developing intercultural competence: knowledge, awareness, skills, and attitudes. And I mentioned them before, so I'm not gonna mention about them, or I'm not gonna talk about them, because we know what it is: knowledge, awareness, skills, and attitudes. And now we have analyzing a critical incident. So it is a moment of misunderstanding or confusion in intercultural communication. To analyze it effectively, we can use a four-step reflective framework. So first one is observation. Okay, we're gonna describe what happened objectively. We're gonna observe that, and then reaction. Explain how you felt and what impact it had on you. So how did I feel about this situation, and what type of impacts it had on me? And then we have critical analysis, thinking about what happened and consider different perspectives from different cultures, maybe. Okay, I think this way, but another person can think that way, like critical analysis, analyzing it. Sorry if it is a very analyzing. Sorry. My tongue is just not working sometimes. And then further reflection. So question your assumptions and what you learned. And I guess that's all I'm gonna talk about today. So we learned it from Future Learn, and I got some, comments on Future Learn course, but I didn't put them in this presentation. I forgot to put them actually. Sorry for not remembering it, but yeah, I've been putting a lot of comments, and there are some interactions between different people, different teachers. Would I say teachers? Yeah. So Emily, I guess her name was Emily, Amelia, or I don't remember, as actually responded my comments and said like, okay, this is this and this is this, and thank you. And I also want to say thank you for the interaction. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna talk about intercultural contact.